Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Let's Address It podcast. I am your host, B. Nicole.
And I am your host, Lala. Thank you so much for joining us today on this fourth episode.
Anyways,
She's a hater. She's a hater.
Today we wanted to, take it a little back and kind of unpack a lot of things that I feel like, is something that in the world that we're in right now, people do not talk about. It's just kind of like it's swept under the rug. Nobody wants to get vulnerable.
Wait, are we going to therapy?
Of course.
Okay, just checking.
Of course.
I was trying to see where we were going with this.
Yes.
But I know normally we do obviously sex topics and stuff that's more fun, but we also wanted this to be something that's more relatable, and we wanted you guys to get to know us a little bit better and also talk about something that's so important that I feel like a lot of people do not touch on and a lot of people suffer in silence. And we just wanted to put it out there because we're also human.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we all deal with different stuff. So today's topic would be trauma.
And I'm just going to let y'all know now, this full disclosure. If y'all see me cry on this episode,
it's okay. You don't have to be a thug all the time.
Listen, this episode, I feel like it took me a lot to be like, you know what, let's do it. I've been asked to talk about certain stuff, and I've always avoided it because I didn't want to tap into that side of like letting the world see me be vulnerable.
Yeah.
So I am very excited to talk about this today because,
Well, before we get into it and get into the trauma aspect of things, obviously there's many different traumas. And I just wanted to read, just for definition, I know you guys probably know what it is, but just so we have some context, I just wanted to read the 3 traumas that are very complex that I really wanted you guys to basically know about and tap into. So the first one that I'm going to give a definition of is the acute trauma. So basically that results from any single incident that may happen in your life that is something that it may be small, but to you it may be big. So it could be a small trauma, but it means a lot to you because you probably never dealt with trauma. And then we have chronic trauma, which is a repeated and prolonged, such as domestic violence, abuse, emotional abuse, like that kind of stuff. And then we have complex trauma, which is an exposure to basically all the multiple traumatic events that often can be invasive or interpersonal or anything of that nature. So today, we are going to start off with something a little bit more personal, I would say. And I know that for you, Britt, obviously there's a lot of things that I do know. There's a lot of things that we don't normally speak on because I feel like when we together, we just want to have a good time. We want to have fun. And we really don't want to touch certain things. And it's not that we forget those things because you cannot. But at the same time, I feel like we just trying to live the best way that we can and,
of course,
create memories. And also we know that, our loved ones would not want us to feel that way.
Of course. So we're going to start with big traumas?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do that first.
So, of course, if you know me, if you don't, I lost my brother in 2018. That was probably like the biggest trauma, but not even probably. That was the biggest trauma that, I was placed with.
Right.
To this day, sometimes I don't know how I do it, right, but I just know that I wake up every day and I do it. Right. But yeah, that was like a huge trauma for me. I didn't know, I was young.
Right.
Not that young. I was 22, 23. So that was, I mean, I've lost a lot of people before. Right. I've been to probably more funerals than my own age. But that's one,
really sad,
I know.
It's just life.
But it's like that one, what's her name say? Lauren London said something and it stuck with me. You can sit at any funeral. When you sit front row at a funeral, it changes you. It truly does, because you see the ins and outs of what people always had to go through. Right. At that time, I felt like, there's multiple, I have more siblings, of course. Right. But for some reason, I felt like I had to be like the strong one.
Right.
And I felt like, seeing my mom, like she felt like she had to be the strong one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like when it came to like the funeral, I felt like I had to like not take the lead, but I felt like I had to take the lead.
Right.
Of like I wanted to, make sure my parents were good.
Right.
So it's like when it came to the funeral, I was like, okay, let me figure out like kind of how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So, like the obituary, the planning, everything like that. It was like I was trying to take the weight off of everyone's shoulder.
So much
But
that goes into it that people don't really talk about or know.
Like in the like when you go to like the funeral home and stuff, I was like, this stuff is expensive. That's not what I said. I said, this shit is expensive.
You would say that.
I was like, a casket costing $7,000. Like, that's crazy. Like, and so like certain stuff like that, like, but during the time it happened, when you lose someone, you're blinded. Like, as much as people say it,
Yep.
oh yeah, no, I'm fine. You're just when it's the beginning,
Right.
and right before the funeral, it's
not only that, I feel like I've seen you. Well, obviously, I know you and
Yeah.
I know your family, so I've seen everything play out. And
Yeah.
I've seen how everything happened. And I always tell you this, and I say this to your whole family. I don't know how you guys move the way you do. I have so much respect for that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I could do that, but
But like it's one of those things you never know until you're in that position. Like, because of course I've had people who've lost their siblings. And I've said it. I'm like, I don't know what I would do in that situation. Like, I would break, I would fall, I would yada yada yada. And it's like God put me in that position. It's like I'm really like I'm still out here. Like, I'm still living. Like, I'm still going. I'm of course, like, I have my days, but it's just I'm not crippled. I'm not crippled into it where it's like I don't know how to keep going. But I feel like, even when it first happened, I brainwashed myself. And it took me years to realize that, because I just kept telling myself, I'm okay. I'm okay. That I told myself I was okay so much that I really thought I was okay. Exactly. And then 2020 happened, and that's when everything so from 2018 to 2020, I never grieved. Like, I grieved, but I didn't actually grieve. And like I feel like there's different levels of grieving.
And everybody grieves differently too. So I want to put that out there, because however way you grieve is not the same way somebody else will.
Exactly.
There's no judgment of however way that will be for
Yeah.
you. But even for you with the whole grieving process and everything, I know it took you a while to get there, but also I feel like you really, once you're planning a funeral or you're doing everything, people expect you to be, there's no grieving.
Yeah.
Because you don't have time to. Like, you're doing everything else and make sure that
it keeps your brain. Yeah. My mind was going, and then it's like, that time period between when the person passes away to the funeral, and then everybody stops coming around. That's what people don't talk about. Is after everything is over, everyone disappears. You have some people who, they stick around, but the visitors stop. The food stops coming. This stuff, like everything stops, and it's like now that's when people need you the most, is after the funeral, because it's just like then you really have time to be like,
yeah, you have time to be in your head, you have time
exactly.
to be alone, you have time to actually start the process of processing things, and it really do hit different, and it's so important to have like a good support system, because
no, for real,
how do you
you have to.
But think about it. People get up every single day, right? Like every family, we all have a routine. And now you're getting up the next day, and this person is no longer here. And it's also like a triggering effect, because when you get up, you normally would have certain routines, certain memories with this person.
Yeah.
And you get up the next day, and it's just like everything's like, in a way, erased, because you can no longer do those things. Not erase the memory, but
your day to day, your routine. Yeah. And he was still in high school. Yeah. So like me and him in the morning, he used to be like, Brittany, keep bringing him to school. I used to hate waking up to bring him to school. So it's like we would argue in the morning, and I'd be like, go wake up, Rich. And then like, but it's like that stopped. And then like I would randomly call him at certain times. And like a few times, like after it happened, I would pick up my phone, like, oh, let me call Nick real quick. And it's like, can't call Nick. So it's like, there's certain things that happen that's like, dang, like it's kind of like a reality check. Like you take a step back and you're like, oh my gosh, like this person's really gone.
Yeah. I think that's the harsh and the hard reality too when it comes
Exactly.
to stuff like that, because I feel like for the longest you still don't think that. Like when my uncle passed away, it took me, honestly, I still have his phone number on my phone.
Oh yeah,
And
my
I could
brother's
just
still in my
not, yeah,
favorites.
I could just not pick myself to delete that.
Yeah, I would
And
never.
yeah, and then a part of me felt like maybe I'm not, like, you know how people say, oh, you don't really get over it, you just kind of learn to cope and deal with it
Mm-hmm.
better. And I feel like some days it's not great, and there isn't many people, that you can really talk to about certain situation, and you also don't want to seem like being a burden on somebody else,
Yeah.
dropping something on somebody.
Yeah.
So it's a tough situation to be
No, it is. I could definitely agree, because we as humans, we never want to put too much on people. But it's like one of the most important things I feel like somebody told me, because like I said, it took me like 2 years to grieve. And I feel like the only reason I did grieve was because of COVID.
in.
I was in the house by myself half of the time because everybody that was living with me was essential workers. And here's me in the house. And then what made it worse was my friend passed away at the top of COVID, like legit at the top. And it was like he passed away the same way my brother passed away. So it's like, that's what it was. Sorry, I just had a sudden realization. That's what really pushed me to grieve, I feel like, because it was like, I was by myself.
Yeah. What do you feel like? What do you remember? Like, what is your fondest memory of like you and Nick, or like what do you remember the most, or like what stands out to you like the most? Like, what do you miss the most? I know obviously
Oh
everything,
gosh.
but
I don't even know. I kind of miss arguing with them.
yeah,
Like it was like you know siblings like you argue like, but it's just like Nick was a Gemini too, so it's like he was sour and then he was sweet.
15 personalities. My brother's
Exactly.
Gemini, so I get it.
So like I feel like we would argue, and it's like we were kind of the same person, but like I was just sour. But like
And you guys was also close in age, so I feel like
yeah, we was 5 years apart.
Yeah.
But what's it called? We would argue and then like we would just get over it. And it was like it's funny.
How do you feel like for you, obviously, everybody, your whole household dealing with it, but for you also, I know your brothers and them, obviously, they deal with their own stuff, however they deal with it, right? But they also don't live there. You still
Yeah.
live in the same place, you know what I mean? With where he grew up. Like, how do you feel like that makes you feel, or like, how do you cope with that? Or what advice would you give to someone who still has to be in the same space? Like, it has to be
Um
hard.
so I feel like so the way the house is structured, my parents are on one side, I'm on the side that he would have lived on. And so I don't
Y'all have to excuse her. She lives in a mansion, y'all. But yeah.
what's it called? I don't know. Like it's very weird. I don't open his door cuz I don't know, it's one of those things like the room is legit set up exactly how he left it. Like it's been 6 years. Everything's untouched. Like it's like a museum. Like his shoes, everything, same spot. Um, but I don't open the door. I just leave it. Like it brings me peace because it's like everything of his is still in there. And I walk past the door every single day, multiple times, but I just don't open it. Like if I go in there, it's like a huge step for me, I think. Like cuz when I go in there, it's kind of like overwhelming. Like it's like I got to go. I got to get out of here. And then I also feel like he'd be kicking me out. In a way, I feel like he'd be like, "Get out." Cuz like that's what he used to tell me, "Get out."
Say, is that something he probably used to say a lot to you?
Yeah.
I don't blame him though. I probably would say get out too. But do you feel like it's harder for you to just basically um what do you feel like like it's most difficult for you? Basically opening the door to go in there and basically feel maybe like the reality of things, or do you think that because you just don't even want to go in there because you don't want to touch anything because you want those last moments to be what they are, kind of just leave everything as is so you can still have that moment.
No, I just don't go in there because it freaks me out. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. And I say that because one day I went in there and his PS4, yeah, PS4, the shit came on, and I was like, getting the fuck up out of here, because like it freaked me out. Like certain stuff, like, and that was in the beginning. Certain stuff like that doesn't freak me out at all now because I feel like I don't know, what everyone else believes in. I don't feel like your loved ones truly leave. Like, and I say that because I've felt my brother. I've felt him in many like different situations, and there's certain things that happen, and I'm like, that was Nick. Like, and it's just like for instance, I used to go to the cemetery every single day, and that was crippling. And I didn't realize it then, but it was. And I kept hearing him say, stop coming here, live your life. Stop coming here, live your life. And if anybody knows me, I am petrified of geese. Petrified of them shits. I don't know why, but I am. And so every day I'm at the cemetery. One day, I guess he just got fed up. And I went there. This is a big old cemetery. There was geese sitting right at his headstone. They would not move. I stayed there for like 10 minutes. They wouldn't move. And so I was like, you know what? Maybe this is Nick telling me to stop coming. Like, I just kept hearing him tell me, stop coming here, live your life. So then I was like, you know what, Nick? I'm going to go home. I'll be back.
Yeah,
I went back the next day. Same thing. I said, okay, Nick. I went back a third day. Same thing. I said, I got it. And so now I only go for like birthdays, holidays. But I was like, dang, like you really, like, yeah, like not only would you kicking me out of your room, now you kicking me out the cemetery. Like, this is crazy. Mind you, I was petrified of cemeteries before this. I wouldn't step foot in a cemetery unless there was people with me. Now I'd be at the cemetery by myself. I'm like, this is crazy. Yeah, I'm like everybody just in here being maggot food. It's just creepy.
For people who do not know your brother, how would you describe him to the world? Like he did a lot of things. So how would you like describe him as a person? Like what is one piece that you take with you and feel in solace? Like yeah, I feel like
he was very quiet, but he was like, all right, so like there's always when you're a teenager, you're one way in the house, you're one way outside. And it's crazy because close to like him, I don't know what word I wanted to use, but close to him transitioning, he was really starting to like open up, like to me. Like it was he wouldn't open up to my brothers. Like it was weird. Like he started opening up to me. So like he started telling me like certain stuff that he was doing, and I was like, what? Like y'all did what today? And then he started talking to me about like females, and I'm like, you okay? Like you're talking to me about females, like, but like he started opening up. So I kind of got like a little glimpse of like his life, but when he passed away, the stuff that I was like,
it was good to y'all.
you know how moms be like, not my son. I was like, not my brother. He did what? Like, so I realized he was like the life of the party. Like, and he had so much like personality that it reminded me of like a male version of like how I used to be in high school. And I'm just like, this kid really, like, he was fun.
Yeah, I don't not if you don't want to touch it or don't want to say it, it's fine. But for other people who don't know, like, how did he pass? And because I know for me, everybody
Yeah,
everybody knew. Like it was so crazy because I've never seen someone be so loved,
I know.
like, and have such a short.
I
Normally,
know.
people who are loved
Yeah.
have lived a long life. They've made
Yeah.
so many crazy impact on other people's lives. This is someone who's barely an adult because I don't consider that
He
adult.
wasn't even, he was 16.
I still like Jalen
Yeah, we
is
know.
19, and I still say he's a kid. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
being at that age, like, it has made such a huge impact. The amount of people that were there for the church service, that were there at your parents' house, that couldn't even park or even to show up.
Yeah.
For me, that was like
But
incredible.
I also feel like there was more people because he was so young. When you're in high school, it's one of those things where it's like you're in school, everybody knows you, and I feel like the circumstances that it was. So to give a backstory, I don't know why I just laughed. Sorry. Yes, but he passed away in a car accident. It was him and four other people, but there was five of them in the car. Four passed away. Um, Many of you probably know about it. It was in Bridgewater. Wait, what else did you ask me? Sorry.
No, it's okay. No, I just said just to give him basically a background of like
Oh
who
yeah.
he was and how much like impact he had made.
Yeah.
Because I feel like so many people came over after he
Yeah.
passed with so many stories
They
about
did.
him that I was like, wow, like
I know.
he's 16. He lived a little.
What?
You know what I mean? Well,
I was like, oh, this little boy was living.
Yeah, but it's incredible to see like all the stories. He was an athlete. Like he was
Yeah.
all these great things. He was very popular for one.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was,
Yeah.
say that. Yeah. Just
I was like, not my brother. But yeah, no, but it's crazy because that night, so it's crazy because of course trauma, you remember like not even certain things, you remember everything. But at that time, I was up for a promotion at my job. I was about to become the store manager. And so I worked, what time did I work? I worked 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. that Friday. That Saturday, I had to be back in at 8 till like 3:34, something like that. And I remember coming home and I remember I was like, I am so tired. Like, I'm so tired. I might just go to sleep. I was about to go to sleep and he had called my dad. This was at 3. I checked like the call log. He called my dad at 3:57. He passed away at 4:05. But I remember my dad being on the phone with him. He was in the hallway and he was like, Dad, can I go to Buffalo Wild Wings? I will not step foot in Buffalo Wild Wings anymore. Like when I hear the words, like it's triggering to me.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, oh nope, I'm not going there. But I heard his voice one last time. And I feel like that gave me peace. But like I said, he passed away 3:57, 4:05. I was asleep when he passed away. I woke up, it was like maybe like 7, 8 o'clock. I called my at the time boyfriend and I was like, yo, I just took the best nap ever. Mind you, this was breaking news. Didn't even know it. And it was crazy because none of my family's ever home at the same time. We were all home. And next thing you know, there was a knock on the door and it was a cop. And instantly I knew something was wrong because my friend had went through the same thing a year before. And so, mind you, I think it's crazy. From 4 o'clock to 8 p.m. is when we found out. It's breaking news. Not one of us knew. And I feel like that was nothing but God. Because if there was, I think there was like speculations like, oh, 4 teenagers from Stoughton or something like that. And if we knew that, I feel like it would have been a different situation. Like we wouldn't have been calm. We would have been calling his phone, calling his phone, calling his phone. So I think it was best that we found out the way that we did find out. Of course, it's traumatic. But yeah, the cops came. My brother answered the door, and he was like, "Ma, the cops want to speak with you." And I remember we all ran downstairs. Yeah, and I'll never forget. The cop made me so mad. He's like, can we speak with you? Can you sit down? And then he asked us to leave. And it's like, you in my house. I ain't gonna ask me to leave my kitchen. And he told my mom. But I mean, you know me.
Sometimes they look at this kind of stuff that it can be, whether you're 18 or not, they look at it, it could be very traumatic for kids. They would look at you as a child.
Yeah, they probably looked, honestly, they probably looked at me and was like, she's like 10.
Yeah, and normally they expect the parents to kind of break that down to you instead of doing everything at once.
Yeah, but I don't know. I didn't like that. And then I didn't like the fact that like they didn't say like, is his dad here? Like I feel like that was something that they should have told them together.
Right.
And so sorry y'all, we had some technical difficulties. But yeah, like I was saying, that rubbed me the wrong way. I feel like they should have did it,
So both parents.
Yeah, to me it was kind of like, oh, this kid's black. He only got one parent.
That,
you know,
one household. Yeah.
Yeah, like no, he has two parents actually. There's two of them. But oh man, like that night, it was just I heard my mom scream in a way that like it's triggering. Like that scream was like a scream that I've never. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. But to see how everybody reacted in different ways, like it was crazy. But after they told us, I just remember grabbing my phone and I was like, I have to call my grandmother. Me and my grandmother are very, very close. Like that's like I wouldn't say my best friend, but like I feel like I can go to my grandmother and tell her anything.
Yeah.
But I just remember calling her and it was like, it wasn't one of those things where it's like, whoa, Brittany's calling me, like this is weird. No, like we talk every day.
All the time, yeah.
So it's like, and we'll be on the phone for like 2 hours. But I just remember her answering the phone. She was like, hey, Brat. And I was like, Grandma, like I was screaming. And I was like, you have to come now. Like, come now. And I just remember her saying, Brittany, you have to slow down. You have to talk to me. What's wrong?
Right.
And I just remember screaming. I said, Grandma, Nick's dead. And I heard her mood change, like her voice change.
Right.
And it changed the whole demeanor of the phone call. And I just remember her like, she's trying to calm me down.
Right.
But she's also like, but I just hear her screaming to everybody, get dressed, get dressed, get dressed, get dressed. We have to go, we have to go. And then the questions are being asked over there. What's wrong? Like, what's going on?
Right.
But it's crazy because all my family lives about 30, maybe 40 minutes away. When I tell you everybody was at my house within 15, 20 minutes, I'm like, what jet did y'all take here? Like, it was like thinking back, it was like, damn, that was a little concerning. How fast were y'all driving?
Listen, when people are in crisis and family members, and like especially something like that, there's a different feel, a different drive.
Like you're honking at people. Yeah. But yeah, I just remember everybody got there so fast, the house was flooded, like flooded. And at that time, I didn't realize certain things that happened. Right. Like for instance, like my niece was there the night that it happened. And certain stuff that everybody was yelling, she repeated it when she went home to her mom.
Right.
And I remember her mom just telling me, she kept screaming, my brother, my brother, my brother. And it's like she was young when this happened. She didn't know what was going on.
Right.
But she was like that peace. I just remember her walking around, rubbing everybody's back like, it's okay. Like, and it gave you some sense of like security. And I just remember her car seat, I don't know why it was in the house, but it was at the front door. And I remember I just fell into her car seat and I was just holding her. And she just kept repeating, Auntie, it's okay. It's okay.
Right.
And
she did go around tell everybody that.
Yeah, like she was just
hugs.
Yeah, she was just wiping people's tears.
You can tell
it's
like
okay.
Yeah.
And what's it called? But having her there was so like, I feel like it was needed. Yeah. She was that piece of the bridge that we needed during that time.
No, for sure. I can see that. Though.
One thing about it, I'm forever thankful for that little girl because, she just don't even know it.
Something else. Love her.
That she is. But yeah, she was definitely the. Sorry guys, I put a lot of lip gloss on.
We know. But yeah, it's different too. I told you like on the outside looking in because, obviously at the time I worked at the church and there was literally nowhere to sit anybody down because there was no seats. It was like a standing, like it was just like rooms on top.
I know it was scary,
completely like full. So I could understand it being overwhelmed.
Yeah, and I ended up leaving.
Home. Yeah, in your home too.
Yeah, like, I ended up. Yeah, it's gonna sound very mean. I didn't leave. I just went to another room because people kept kissing my face. Right. My skin is so sensitive that like maybe like 100 people kissed my face, and I was like, you know what? I looked at my mom and I was like, Mommy, if one more person kisses my face, I'm gonna like freak out. Like, and I'm a germaphobe, so it's like, like I don't even like hugs.
Right.
So it's like, and this was before COVID. After COVID, I started liking hugs, which is weird. But before COVID, I did not like hugs. Do not hug me. And so people I was out of my shell. Like I'm hugging people kissing me. I was like, oh no. So me and my mom went and sat in the other room. So shout out to my dad and my brothers for holding down the fort, because I was like, I'm about to have a conniption if one more person kisses me on my cheek. And I know everybody meant well by it, but it wasn't doing it for me. No, I was like, I gotta go.
No, that's fair. Yeah, I still don't know like how you guys process things or how you do it, but like I said, I always tell you this anyway. But I applaud everything you guys are doing, because you guys are still doing the work.
Even speaking at the funeral, speaking, like,
that was a lot.
We all spoke.
That was
not all of us, but I never even told anybody this. But when I went up there, I looked up and I seen so many people. It was like the weirdest thing ever. I just remember opening my eyes and I fell back, like I felt myself fall backwards. And I don't know what made my mom, she placed her hand on my back. And when she placed her hand on my back, it was like I just
stand up, you can breathe again. Yeah.
Yes, like it was like she gave me peace, and I was just like, and I spoke. And I was shocked that I was able to do it, because when I tell you, it was like, I don't know if you've ever felt like, I don't want to say it was a shock, but I felt myself just go backwards, and it was like and I was like, wow. But like even us speaking, I was like, we really we did that. Like it was shocking.
No, for sure. I can understand that.
Yeah.
Whew. Well, that was a lot.
It was.
Yeah. I think though, I'm proud of you and your whole family. You guys keep doing stuff every day. And I do like that you guys do not let his memory fade in any kind of way. And your mother does so much work. And I'm so happy for her too, because she stepped out of her shell and kind of be able to be a mom and be in that position. It got to be difficult. And for her to get up every day and still have a great relationship with God and not question certain things, and also being able to move, being able to be a speaker, being able to talk about these things that are often so hard to speak on. I think it's incredible, to say the least.
Honestly, I agree. Yeah. Some days I don't know. I tell people I just go with the vibes. Yeah. Like, but it definitely made me, of course, in the beginning, I didn't want to do nothing. Like, but it made me realize, like, live your life. You never know when your last day may be. Right. Like,
I think for me, my uncle's passing and also my cousin's Kenny passing was like one of the hardest things for me. And like you said, the more things happen, the more it doesn't matter in which way things happen. The fact that they're not here is just, it's sad to say, but after a while you get used to it in a way. Yeah. Because it's just like, hey, what else is next? Like, how could this happen?
Yeah.
For me, I had so many people like back to back. I had my cousin Kenny passed away, and then Sam passed away right after him, and then right after Sam was Courtney, and they were like 3 BFFs, and it was so weird because I'll never forget it, because we had like a picture that Kenny's mom kept at the house, and it was all 3 of them in that frame. And to look back, all 3 of them passed away a year and some change apart from one another. It's mind-boggling. Yeah. Like, it's just something I can never really like.
You can't I don't want to say unsee, but like even to when my brother passed away. So it was like it was like a chain reaction. Like my cousin passed away, and then the year that my brother passed away, my cousin passed away at the beginning of May. My brother passed away at the middle of May. But it was crazy because Nick never wanted to go to funerals. When my cousin passed away, his funeral was May 16th. We forced him to go to that funeral. We was like, Nick, you need to go. Like, come on, like, let's go. 3 days later, he passed away. And then November, my cousin that passed away right before my brother, his dad passed away. So it was like, actually, it was my aunt, then my cousin, then my brother, then his dad. So it was like, it was heavy. Like it was back to back to back to back to back. So it's like, how the F-U-C-K, can a family grieve all these people at once?
Yeah, you don't have time. Just when you think you're about to grieve somebody, here
Boom.
goes another one. Yeah.
And to this day, like I pray for my cousins all the time because it's like to lose your son, then her son, then her husband, like that breaks my heart. Like, because it's just like I'm dealing with one, you're dealing with three. Like that shit is so like it hurts my feelings. Like, because it's like you never want to see people you love go through certain things. So it's like that breaks my heart.
And those are one of those things that I feel like you can never really make it better.
You can't.
Never really take
like there's
away.
Nothing you can say or do. Yeah. Sure.
No.
So it's like, damn, like how do you be there? Like I said, there's nothing you can say or do that like it doesn't bring them back.
Right.
Like I'll never forget. Somebody asked me something, and thinking back, it was so mean to say. But in the moment, it's whatever came out of my mouth. Mm-hmm. But he had asked me, he had said something, and I was like, is it gonna bring my fucking brother back? And thinking back, it was like, I did not have to say that. Like, that man was just trying to be nice. Right. And here's me just...
Why did you think that you reacted that way?
Because I think it was just... I don't know why I reacted that way. I think he was actually getting on my nerves that day. And I just remember...
like a part of you was just like angry.
I think I was angry. Too. Yeah. Of course I was angry. And when it first happened, I questioned God a lot. Because it was like, why?
And that's how
I felt. Why? Mm-hmm. But one thing about it, I'm happy I never did, was I never lost faith. Like, I questioned God. And I know they say you're not supposed to question God, but we're human. Right. We're going to question things. But I questioned God for a long time because it was like, why? Like, why? And then a year before he passed away, I got into a serious car accident. Right. So it's like, I don't want to say it was survivor's guilt, but it's like, why? Like,
could well be, yeah.
It's like, why did I survive that? Right. And it's like, but he didn't survive this. Right. You know, like, and it's just, for a while, like, I was just like, why couldn't he just, like, have been, like, paralyzed or something, like, but still here, like, so that we could still have him here. And it was just, I don't know. Like, it was...
Knowing from everything you guys say and all the things that he did, I don't think he would have wanted that life.
Yeah, anyway. Like, definitely wouldn't. Yeah. But, like, it was selfish. Like, I felt like we needed him down here more than he needed to be up there. Like, and it's just... Like, I felt it was selfish. Yeah. Because it's like, here is hell. It's pain and suffering. Mm-hmm. He's not suffering. He's not in pain. Right. And I had dreams when it all happened. And every dream he kept telling me, why are you crying? I'm okay. And that, like, I feel like that's one of the biggest things that give me peace. Yeah. Is because he told me I'm okay. Because I needed that.
No, for sure.
I really did.
For sure, because that's one of the things too. When people passed away, especially when it's not a natural cause, we always wonder that, especially if it's something that's that traumatic of how he passed. It's just like, you know, you question things like, damn, was he okay? What was his
honestly? And I question that, and I even asked like the DA's office and stuff. I was like, did he go instantly? And they were like, there's no way he even suffered. Like they was like, it was so quick, he probably didn't even know it was coming.
And that's what my feelings would have been towards that, because I would think about, like, you know, what did he think about his last moment? Did he have any time to even process any of that? Was he in pain? I think that would have been the thing that for me, I would have felt the most terrible about it, considering the circumstances. Exactly. And the fact that he was willing to, you know, tell you that or whatever, then it should give you some type of solace. Like,
it definitely did. Yeah. I even asked to see the autopsy. Like, at the pictures, but you know, my mom was like, "No, you're not looking at those pictures," and I was like, "But I need to see it."
That could be a lot, because you don't want that to be the last memory too of him.
But honestly, I even seen him in his casket. I don't remember exactly what he looked like. He didn't look like himself. So to me, he looked like, I remember him by how he looked.
Right.
But I lost my train of thought. What was I gonna say? I just remember. Oh, what I like, because, you know, we all put together scenarios of what you think happened in that moment. Right. But I strongly believe that he screamed for my mom. And I say that because she said when it happened, she felt him.
Mhm.
Like she said she felt like this weird like feeling, and I feel like that was him
Mhm.
screaming for my mom. But I feel like that's what it was in his last moments.
Right.
But I do think he's seen it coming. Only because of like how he was positioned, which I seen pictures of. I seen how he was positioned in the car.
Mhm.
So it's like I know he knew it was coming. It was just quick.
Yeah. And I think that has to be too the difficult part for you, your mom, and everybody to like really accept that, because
I
it's
know.
just like, as a mom, like when your kid needs something or wants something,
Yeah,
you're
you
always
you
supposed
want
to
to
be
save
there,
them.
and you want to, yeah.
Yeah.
And not to be able to be in a position to do that, that got to be something that they probably live with every day. And that can be,
It's like I don't want to say it's survivor's guilt,
yeah,
but it kind of is.
yeah,
Like it's just like I couldn't save them.
yeah. And I'm pretty sure it's such a struggle too to just like live with that, because
Yeah,
how could you not?
I know.
But at the end of the day, it's like it's not your fault. There was nothing you could have done, because if there
I know.
was anything you could have done, I'm pretty sure everybody would have rallied. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
definitely. Um, but yeah, like even like sitting in court,
right,
we sat in court for the whole thing. We watched the accident happen, like, and it's just
yeah,
thinking back, I don't even know how I sat in that courtroom
yeah.
for that long, listening to this
Do
stuff.
you think
Like,
that being in there like has helped you? Like help you process everything? Because sometimes people are like, I don't want to be there, I don't want to see it, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. But then later on, you feel like, damn, I should have been there to see it. I should
and
have,
that's what I
you know what I
didn't
mean?
want. So my thing was, I felt like I had to go.
Yeah.
I feel like me not going, I was letting him down,
Right.
which is weird. Um,
No,
but
that's fair.
when I tell you, I did not care. Like everybody who knows me knows I'm a hustler. I said, forget work.
Right.
Like, and thinking back, I'm so thankful for the girls that I had working with me. I ended up when I went back to work, they ended up giving me the promotion. Um, they were like asking me, they were like, are you okay to take this
Right.
promotion?
Right.
And I was like, give it to me. I want it. Like, I wanted it. I've been wanting it. Give it to me.
And
I'm
probably
fine.
more work and keep you busy, so you're
Yeah.
not
So it was
thinking,
like,
yeah,
yeah. And like the girls that I had during the time of like the court cases, they were like, they were so helpful.
yeah,
I was like, guys, there's court at 3. Brittany, we'll stay. Go.
right,
And without them, I wouldn't have been able to go to every court case.
hmm,
But I'm so thankful that I did go because I feel like I had to be there. Somebody had to, I don't want to say advocate,
right,
but I had to be there in his, like
yeah,
for him.
yeah, for sure,
So I am thankful that I did go because I feel like it gave me like, I don't want to say peace because
yeah,
kind of had to watch some crazy shit
right,
and see pictures. Like, so it was like, I thought it would be traumatizing, but I refused. Like, they would tell us, like, hey, you can leave the courtroom real quick.
yeah,
This is about to get graphic.
right.
I refused. Like, I sat there through it all. And I don't know how.
Are you the only person who sat there through it all,
No,
or
my
the
parents
parents?
sat
Yeah,
through. And I was like, I was
right,
shocked.
right,
I just knew my dad was not about to sit in there the whole time. He was like, no, I'm staying.
yeah,
And I'm like, Dad, like, I'll stay in here. Like, you guys
right,
can go. No, I'm staying.
right.
Like, so it was crazy. It was crazy.
Very. Do you feel like?
Sorry
Sorry,
for
I
the toilet
almost
paper,
feel
y'all.
like, yeah, I almost feel like this became like an interview. You kind of question. I'm sorry
I
for putting you on the
know.
spot, but do you feel like you have, with everything that have transpired,
Ooh,
do you feel like you've gotten, because I think what people don't talk about, and honestly, I don't feel like people should talk about, because I would never want to give this man any light. But do you feel like you have forgiven?
definitely.
Okay.
Cause I just feel like I don't know. I don't know where he's at now. I don't know what he's doing.
Right.
I hope it's something good.
Right.
But
Because your life was spared at the end of the day amongst
yeah.
everybody else. So you have a purpose.
And
So I hope you
that's what I was gonna
are.
say. I'm a
Yeah,
firm believer.
he has a
He survived for a
purpose. Yeah,
reason.
for sure.
I don't know what it was.
For
In the
sure.
beginning, of course. Like it was like I was angry.
Right.
But at some point I had to forgive. because that's something he has to live with that for the rest of his life.
Right.
I don't know how it's affecting him.
Right.
I don't know nothing. But that's something he has to live with for the rest of his life.
Right.
Me being angry at him is not going to bring nobody back.
And not only that, being angry at him for that situation is not going to give you any peace.
It's not. And it's not going to.
And at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of us forgive people, not for them, but for us.
I forgave for myself.
Yeah. So we're able to, I don't even know if move on is the right word I'm looking for, but just be able to.
No, but I was going to say that. Yeah.
Right.
But I feel like at a certain point I had to. Like, it was just, I couldn't be angry anymore. Because
good for you, because there's a lot of people who might not be there. You know, they're probably family members right now from your side that might still not be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So to be able to do that, I think that's huge. Yeah. Yeah. I really hope that. Yeah. No, I really hope that.
I spoke after the sentencing. And it was just, I don't know. Because anything that can be done, it's not going to bring nobody back. Even when people say justice, justice is never really justice because the person's never coming back.
Right.
So I don't call it justice.
I do remember seeing your big head on the news. Just wanted to tell you that.
I know they had me crying on the news, but my makeup looked good. That's one thing. My hair, laid.
Lord. Anyway, yeah, so that, I would say that was a huge trauma in your life. And I feel like it's still something that you deal with every day and your whole family, honestly. And I pray for you guys often, and I hope that, you know, it gets easier because it doesn't get better.
Yeah.
I can't say I lost a sibling or anybody, only obviously those two people that were super close to me. That was very traumatic to me, but I don't know how you do it.
I don't know either. And like, I don't know, like there's so many traumas that like you can experience.
Right.
And oh gosh.
Are we gonna go there?
I'm about to So listen. A trauma that people, yes, losing people is a trauma. But losing someone who is still alive is another trauma. And I feel like, for me personally, I don't know if you've ever dealt with this, but after losing my brother, I walked away from a 9-year relationship. So it was like...
And nobody talks about that, how traumatic those things can be too.
Man, listen. And... oh my gosh. So, 2020, like I said, that was the year I grieved my brother. As I'm grieving, I find out, yet again, I was getting cheated on. Something I never really spoke on.
Right.
I was getting cheated on for years.
Happens to the best of us.
Happens to the best of us. I was getting cheated on for years. I hid it.
Right.
You know.
I think that often, though, as women, we always do that. We hide that stuff until we know it's actually completely over.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Think about it. You can't bring it to your parents and say something because now they're going to feel a way about that man.
I know.
Right? And you can't go and tell your friends because your friends going to be overprotective too. So they're going to pick a side.
I know it was one of those things. I never wanted to ruin someone's reputation. Yeah. So I kept it to myself for years. Mm-hmm. In 2020, I was grieving my brother. I found out one last time. And that year, I would say that's the year I gained a backbone. Because it was the last time. And I was like, I am done. Yeah. I'll never forget September 5th, 2020, best day of my life.
Virgo season, y'all. Y'all heard it here first.
I walked out of a relationship that was crippling me. It was damaging me. I was not myself. I wasn't happy. Right. I lost myself completely. And getting out of it, it was hard, of course. You know, for a while, I kept double backing. We were working things out.
You double backed?
Shut up.
Oh, this is crazy, y'all.
But we were working things out for a while. And then it got to the point where one day I woke up and I changed my phone number. And I was like, I'm done. I'm done. Done. And when I tell you I never looked back again, I never looked back. And someone had told me, they was like, one day you're going to wake up
Mm-hmm.
and you're just going to be done.
Yep.
And when I woke up that day and I changed my phone number because
Yep.
he would call me. And one day he called me. I'll never forget. He called me and he was like, "You're a fucking bitch. You're a hoe. You were just a nut.
Whew,
I
sorry. Talk
fucking
about
hate
traumatic
you.
stuff.
I never loved you." And that day is the day that he never got a reaction out of me ever again. He sat on that phone. He said all these hurtful things. And I just sat there. And when he realized he wasn't getting a reaction out of me, he apologized. And he was like, "I'm sorry. I didn't mean none of that stuff that you said." He even threatened me. He was like, "I don't know who you need to tell, but just know how I'm coming," or something like that. And that day, like, I swear the next week, I said he would no longer have access to me. He would no longer have control over my life. And I changed my number, never looked back ever again.
And the worst thing is being with a narcissist. When they feel like they
Yes.
can no longer control you,
They
feel like they
Yep.
lose all their power and
Yep.
everything. And when I tell you, once they start feeling like that, it's game over.
It is.
Yeah.
And so after that day,
You became Big Brit, not the little one.
what? And then, like, of course, for a while, you know, there was
Right.
certain things that I had to get over,
Right.
you know, knowing that other people are not him.
Right.
I had to, that first person that I talked to after we broke up,
You have to apologize to that man.
I
'cause
should
it's
probably,
just like,
no, honestly, I should probably reach out to him and say sorry because
right.
I was a mess,
Yeah.
like a mess.
Yep.
And I put a lot of stuff on him
Right.
that was not his fault.
Right.
And yeah, I'm going to apologize to him.
Yeah. Because they always get it the worst.
They
It's
get it
like
the
the
worst.
one after. Yeah.
And I
yeah.
feel so bad for him
Yeah.
because the amount of pressure I put on him,
Yeah.
it was crazy.
Is it somebody you still talk to today?
No.
Like, no, in the sense of like,
No.
maybe reach out? No?
No, like, we'll like comment on each other's stories sometimes,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
it's nothing more than like,
Right. That's what I was
"Hey,
asking.
how are you?"
Yeah. No, that's what I was asking. I wasn't.
But yeah, like, he got it bad.
Yeah.
And then I had to, you know, seek therapy. But therapy's really what my
Love me a
therapist,
good therapy session.
my therapist was in, like, I'll never forget. Remember that day I had met with
You
my
was so
therapist.
upset.
I hung up on the therapist. I said, "I know this lady did not just tell me what I needed to hear."
Yep. She came for your neck.
She did.
Mhm.
But that, having her as my therapist changed me. So when she left, I feel like she helped me so much. I was traumatized from her leaving me.
Yeah. And that's another thing too that people don't ever talk about. When you find a good therapist
What?
and then they leave, you feel like you start a relationship all over
What?
again, and you feel like it's a traumatic too because you get used to that person, and yeah, it's a whole thing.
I'm like, you know
Yeah.
all my business now at this point.
I know.
Where you going?
Tell me about it. Well,
But yeah, that's one of them traumas that we do not talk enough about. Relationship PTSD.
yeah, that. Yeah, I packed a person's bag before too, put it in a trash bag and left it outside and never looked back. I just can't. I don't know. The older I get, the less energy I have for people and
Of course,
shenanigans,
now
and I'm
forget it.
just like, yeah.
You know me, I'll leave real quick. I'll leave real quick. Real quick.
I think that will do it. That was a lot.
That was a lot of unpacking.
I wonder how do others deal with trauma? I think that for me, I feel like I had a lot of traumatic experience that has happened. Obviously, not as deep as yours in that sense, but
I wouldn't say that. It's just
different.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
different types of traumas. I would never belittle any trauma that
Right.
anybody went through and be like, "Oh, this trauma's bigger." No, trauma's trauma.
Right. Agreed. Like, what do you do to like cope with it? Like,
I don't know.
so it doesn't like for me, trigger warnings. Like, there's
Oh,
certain stuff that people do that just triggers me from different
yes.
stuff that has happened in my past, right? So for me, when that happens, I become like a mental patient. Like, I feel like I literally need to take a deep breath. I need to step away for a second And I'm not the person to just like talk about things in the moment. I like time
Mm,
to process things and kind of sit on it and talk about it. And obviously, you deal with different people in different relationships, and some
of
people just
course.
want to talk about things right there and then. And for me, that would never work because I completely get quiet and I just shut down.
It's a boundary.
Yeah, it just shut down. Oh, I do not like that word, but I
See,
do
you're part
shut.
of the
No,
people that's the
no,
problem that
no.
don't
I
like
do.
boundaries. Why are my
I
pants up?
just honestly,
Why are my pants up so high? Hope
I
y'all
just
can't
don't
see
feel.
that ash.
Yes, they
Sorry.
can. No, I just feel like I just know. I feel like everything I do is better. I feel like I have more control over things when I do it. And I feel like I like that sense of
You
security.
wanna know
And
what
I
that
know
is?
that when
It's
I
a defense
no,
mechanism.
I feel
Yes,
like
it
when
is.
I do it, it's gonna get done right.
No, it's
Like
a
so, I
defense.
just like
It's a
to.
defense mechanism of being let down so many times. Because I do it too, and that's
Well, all
because
right. Who made you the
motherfuckers.
therapist?
Listen, I know a little something, something. It's a defense mechanism
Yeah,
because you've been let down, and
I do feel like that. I feel
that's
like
your
I've
way
been
of
like my whole life. I feel like I just always been let down by people. So I feel like I'm not giving nobody that. So at the end of the day, I feel like I'm just gonna do it myself because there's nothing you can do for me that I can't do for myself.
yeah, and I do the same
So
thing,
yeah,
but it's not okay.
depends who you ask.
No, it's not okay.
Okay, maybe it's not okay,
It's
but
not okay because when you don't ask for help, everybody needs help. We're
I don't
all
like asking
human.
for help
I don't
because
like
if you
asking for
come back
help.
and throw that shit in my face, I'm just gonna
Asking for
have to
help
like
for me is too close to begging, and I don't like to
exactly.
beg.
No,
So
no,
once I have to beg,
yeah, it's too much, too
I'm just gonna shut off.
much.
You know, shut off like your mic did earlier.
Oh
I'm kidding.
no, not that.
I can't. Um, yeah, that was.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like for me personally, I just like doing things on my own. And I would love, like, I like when a man takes care of certain stuff or does certain stuff, right? But I also feel like don't cripple me because I feel like I could do it too. Like I don't need somebody to open my door every 3 minutes
I
when we
know.
go out. That shit
Like
will
I can open
annoy
my own
me.
door.
Right.
I get
That shit
mad.
will annoy me. But it's nice every once
Why
in
did
a
I just
while if you
jump?
see I don't know because you're a third. But
Okay.
it's nice every once in a while if you see like I have on a pair of heels or something, then you want to open the door because I may need help walking over here, and you can see that or catch that. I feel
Yeah.
like that's nice, but it's just like I'm wearing cakes just like you. I don't need you to
Yeah.
come open my door.
Yeah.
I don't have bags in my hands. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's that stuff. But yeah, I feel like my past has made me
Who you are
very
today?
cautious of certain things that I do, certain people I have in my circle. And yes, it's a trust issue. It's a lot of things, honestly. Ooh, now that I think about
Even
it.
friendship, I just triggered me. Friendship
Hmm.
PTSD or friendship traumas.
Right.
I've been crossed by a lot of these.
Hoes.
I was
Oh,
gonna use a better term,
young
females, because I
ladies.
was about to say bitches. But
Yeah, I
I've
never
been
said
crossed
it.
by some females and that I've called my friends.
Right.
And honestly, now I'm just like, all right, I gotta watch out for that. I
Yeah,
gotta
I
watch
feel
out
like
for
you
this.
have three good friends, and I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you do.
Yeah. I would say yeah.
Yeah, I feel like as you get older too, you'll figure out who's really your friend or who's really there for certain opportunities or who's really there when they only need you,
Yeah.
and you can't really go back and forth with them. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if you needed something, who do you call first? Is
Exactly.
it those same people that call on you? And
Definitely not.
I'm not saying it's a favor for a favor, but your friend should be there through it all.
Yeah.
It's just
I
yeah.
definitely I can
I
agree
had
with that.
friendships I had to let go over 20 years.
Yeah.
And
That's another thing.
yeah,
A lot of people don't realize time means nothing.
nothing.
I've had more beneficial
Right.
friendships that were shorter periods of time than longer periods of time.
Right.
Being friends with somebody since kindergarten, first grade,
Right.
second grade, it means shit, honestly. Because people
Right.
change at different points in life. We go through different things.
Right.
You
As
grow
they
apart.
should. Let's just be
Like
clear. Yeah.
it's something that happens.
Yeah.
Like, but I have I have a friend who I've been friends with since kindergarten.
Right.
Me and her don't talk every day, but when we
Yeah.
talk, it's like
We never left. Yeah.
it's like we
Yeah.
never left.
Yeah.
That's a true friendship
Right. It is.
to me.
Yeah.
But there's friends who, I've known for years, and it's like,
Just counting the years. Yeah.
yeah, it's just we're just counting the years.
Yeah.
But it's just there's not.
But your friends, your significant other, all these people, they're supposed to bring some type of substance to your life and vice versa, right?
Yes.
So what are you doing for me? What am I doing for you? And it
Yeah.
doesn't always have to be monetary. Like it doesn't have
Yeah.
to be any of those things. It's like, damn, is this person really there for me when I really need them?
Mhm.
And you too is just
Or
like,
they
hey,
just trying to get in my
am I?
business.
Yeah, and there's gonna be those people that just nosy, want to see what you're doing
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Like I said, I had to let go of a almost 20-year friendship, and
Yeah.
all it was doing was collecting years because you weren't calling me about anything that had to do with any business, any substance, any happiness. It was always like gossip. It was drama. It was borrowing money. It was like crap that I can never call you for.
Yeah.
And some of the things I don't want to, because I really don't want to sit up here and gossip with you about somebody else.
Yeah.
And it's a way of you talking to people or venting. But when it becomes like a gossiping session and just all you calling about, it's just like, bro, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
And not only that, you call me every week to borrow money.
Yeah.
So that's
not.
really all you here for.
Yeah.
And I tested it and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna start saying no. And I promise you,
Those phone calls got shorter and
as
shorter.
I started saying no, it did. It got shorter and shorter. And then after I just stopped talking to this person, like in general, and they never looked back because they knew that they can no longer manipulate me. They can no longer use me for these things.
Yeah.
And I'm no longer good to them in that sense.
Yeah.
So there's no point. So that's why I hate when people, you know,
put years.
Yeah, because I don't feel like I have friends who I've been friends with very short period of time. I've become very good friends.
Yeah.
Rather than other people that I've known for years. Like my longest female friend, obviously, is Diana. Like we've been through it all together, like every single thing together. But then obviously I have you and I's friendship, which you know what I mean, compared to hers and I, has not been that long.
Yeah.
And I share a whole lot with you as I do with her. And like people say, you always have a different friendship for different things.
Yeah,
right?
different friendships.
Yeah, like you have
things.
certain females or certain female friends that you'd be like, hey, like me, for example, maybe you'd be like, "Oh, girl, you can't come over here because I can't put you on speakerphone, so you can't come over here with me." But,
Hell no, you ain't going on speakerphone.
And for me, that's okay. Not every friend is for every scene, but it's not like I'm singling you out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just different things. Oh, plus, I might know something that you might like. I might be like, "Hey, it's trap music. We gotta go here. I'll invite you." My other
friend, no damn trap music.
Whatever, you still come. Any
I sure will come because I'm gonna have a blast.
Will. Yeah. But see, like for me, like when I go out with Diana, she's more of a dinner person. She's also married. There's a family. There's different boundaries, different things, and I still include her because that's my friend. I want her to feel included. Now she could have the option to come or not come. Yeah. And she's declined many times for certain situations. And then there are things that we all did together and we go together because she feels comfortable in that. But I'm not gonna leave my friend out. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you the option if you want to come or don't want to come. And again, not every scene is for everybody, and that should be okay. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
That's funny.
Love my friends. But yeah. I
think
sorry. That
definitely love
today's
my friends. Today was a lot of unpacking.
It was.
A lot of, you know.
But I really wanted you to do this because I feel like this is the first time we actually had a decent conversation or had everything kind of out there a little bit, and I almost felt like you needed that. I feel like you never talk about anything.
I've had people ask me like, can you talk about it? Yeah. I've never talked publicly about it. Right. So like, whew.
And I feel like you also sometimes you're not an expressive person. I feel like you can be with the right person, but I feel like you don't really.
My nigga, I'm gonna tell you something. I will listen.
I hope that nigga just be like all the paragraph and he's like, okay.
I know he be reading it like, the fuck is still wrong going with this girl today? Oh no. Nah, I'm just playing.
And just be like, okay at the end. That's it.
No.
That would take you
not off? The okay. What? Okay. Open the door.
Not open the door. Call the cops, y'all.
No.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all of that to say.
Wait, no, not my nigga. I'm celibate. Go ahead.
Anyway. That's funny. All of that to say that I'm really just proud of all of you. Even, you know, your brothers and your mom. Your mom's doing big stuff and talking about things in her Etsy store and everything. And then your brother has one of your brothers, I should say that.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to say names or no?
I don't know. Okay. Sure.
So, yeah.
So this episode is sponsored by SOULFULL Collection, which is my brother's clothing line.
So, yeah. So, we both wearing it. So, I don't know if you guys can see, but yeah. It's cute or whatever.
Not as cute or whatever.
I would rock it.
And that I would rock it with it on. Make that make sense.
Okay, I would work out in it or something. Okay, maybe not work out, but just
I'm going to
stretching it.
sleep.
Okay, but I would run to Whole Foods in it. Just saying.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I think it's cute. Y'all should cop it. We're definitely gonna put
The
a
website
link,
and the
in the bio where you guys can do it, and we're gonna talk to him about getting you guys a little Cody code because I don't see no code of 10% off if it's sponsored. Well, actually, he sponsored this, so probably not, right?
No, I'm kidding.
Yep. So, and we also wanted to basically like say thank you to Soulful Collection for sponsoring this video.
I didn't say thank you.
She didn't. She's rude as
I'm
hell.
just kidding.
But yeah, and we also gonna leave off with we wanted to leave the number for basically anyone who's been dealing with some type of trauma. Because there's different people obviously you can talk to. You can look for a therapist.
Oh, this was my cue to
and
get the phone number. Sorry, guys.
you can talk to a therapist and you can talk to sometimes friends help, but I like to talk to somebody who's a complete stranger. So I feel like the advice and things is more authentic and I look at it one way. So Brittany Nicole
Is not doing her job.
she's not. She's on the phone right now trying to find the stuff for you guys. But
Okay, I got it.
but we'll have it.
800. Oh wait, 1-800-786-2929. I sure hope that's the right
And
number.
what was that number?
Oh wait, no, that's the National Runaway Safe Line. That one, we're gonna put that one too.
Jesus.
This looks so uncoordinated, whatever the fuck the word is, but I love it. 1-800-273-8255. And if you are, holy shit, hold on. If you are Spanish speaking, 1-866-628-9454.
You gotta say that in Spanish.
What? Uno. I'm done. So yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in. Whew, this was a lot.
It was.
Yeah. So I'll see you guys on next episode. It'll be more fun and less tears. Peace out.